What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So I will say I am surprised, not surprised, to see this headline as it relates to the horror version that we were supposed to be getting, supposedly, of a DC villain, Clayface, coming from DC Studios. And the reason I'm surprised is because of the quotes and because of the praise that James Gunn, one of the co-CEOs, along with Peter Safran for DC Studios. But I mean, I think it's well known by now that James Gunn is more of the face of pushing through as far as content, whether it's movies or television series for DC Studios. Based on when we first reported this, and we reported on this, I think 1 or 2 times, especially when it first broke. So you can check out our playlist for horror news updates and just search by Clayface, and you'll be able to see the previous videos we've done on this. But this is the latest on it. And at the time, when the news broke, Mike Flanagan apparently had wrote a script and wrote this tremendous script that convinced James Gunn to actually do a solo Clayface film, and it was going to be slightly horror based, and I was excited for it. I'm a DC fan. Outside of horror, I do like DC content, and the fact that we were going to get a live action Clayface horror spin, especially coming out of DC Studios, especially the approach that they've been taking with their content as of late, with James, especially with the style that James Gunn has. I was excited to see this. It was going to be something different that might be able to stand on its own, and then potentially, if it's successful, build on other live action films or series that would look very similar to this or go down the same path, right? As far as from a horror, very dark perspective. I mean, because DC does have their content, when you compare it to Marvel, is very, in my opinion, a lot darker, a lot more mature, and can be viewed as a lot more mature. Their characters can be. And I think that's something that they don't take advantage of enough, and I wish that they would. But when I see this headline, Drive writer Hossein Amini will rewrite Clayface for DC Studios. Bit of a surprise there again because of what was previously quoted by James Gunn, but in the same breath, not surprised because it's DC Studios and it's James Gunn. So let's jump into the article details and see what they are, maybe what the rationale is here. According to the Wrap, Hossein Amini will rewrite Clayface for DC Studios. Mike Flanagan, who wrote the first pass on the script, which again, that wasn't what we were originally told. And don't get me wrong, I am fully aware, and I'm not blind to the fact that scripts get rewritten. Right, they get rewritten multiple times, but that's not the leg or the soapbox I'm standing on with this one. Initially brought so it says here, who wrote the first pass on the script, initially brought the project to life, but recent rumors have claimed that a potential page 1 rewrite is underway. How much of Flanagan's script will be rewritten remains to be seen. I wouldn't be surprised if it's more than half or the whole thing. I would not be surprised one bit. But production is still slated to kick off this October in the UK. Highly doubt that's going to happen. Amini is best known for writing Nicholas Winding's Refn's Drive, and more recently several episodes of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. So that can kind of give us an idea of where this film is going to be headed. James Watkins, who did Speak No Evil, will direct the Clayface movie, which will be produced by Matt Reeves and Lynn Harris. I'm not sure if Matt Reeves is still going to be involved in this, and that's not something, because I've heard that, read that somewhere. No one has said that. That's just my opinion because of everything that's going on in his personal life right now, and which has added to the delays of the Batman Part 2. And if this is, let's just say this stays on schedule to start filming this October, I don't see Matt Reeves being a producer in this. I see him maybe providing some notes here and there, maybe some slight consulting, but I don't see him being heavily involved in this film whatsoever. Earlier this year, Gunn explained that so this is where I think we're getting into some of the quotes I was mentioning that we reported on when this film first came about. Earlier this year, Gunn explained that he never intended on making a Clayface movie in the DC universe, but Flanagan's script was just too good to ignore. Quote, "I didn't plan on making a Clayface movie, Mike came in, he pitched his wonderful idea. I was like, damn, I can't believe you got me to want to make a Clayface movie. Gunn said. Quote continues, but he's got to write the script, and who knows how that's going to work. He goes and writes the script. First draft is great. Second draft is even better. And then I'm like, let's do it. So we found a place for it, because if there's quality stuff, we can find a way to work it in. That's the end of the quote. So we're gonna so let's just stop there. I was gonna say let's come back to this, but let's just stop there. So there's something out there that James Gunn said when he first took over DC Studios, and he said we won't start anything unless we have a script, unless it's approved, ready to go. And when you read that quote, hell, it brought me a first draft. It was great. The second one was even better. And then I'm like, yeah, we're doing this. And now we're being told there's going to be a rewrite. So either you were lying on how great it was, or you still feel that way, it's still great, but maybe the powers that be that control his purse strings and control his job said, yeah, we don't like this. It's either too mature, too much of a horror film. It's too this. It's not lighthearted. It doesn't fit the family-friendly approach we are now wanting to take with DC Studios, because, if you didn't know, or if you do know how many people perceive the Snyderverse to be a lot more mature, a little bit darker when it comes to what DC was doing back then versus what they're wanting to have them do now, especially when you look at the Superman trailers that have been coming out, which is going to come out this year. It's a lot more colorful, doesn't seem as dark and mature and grounded and realistic. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of those two things happen. Either he realized, oh yeah, this really doesn't fit in what I'm trying to do, now we're going to do a rewrite. Or someone said to him, yeah, this doesn't fit in the lighthearted, family-friendly, colorful DC world that we want. It's too mature. Get it rewritten. I think it's got to be one of those two things. And he didn't have the pull or the weight to stand his ground and dig his heels in and say, nope, we're making this. While bringing in another writer to rewrite a script you love so much may seem strange. I would agree. It seems more than just strange. It seems a little out there and hard to believe. Flanagan is a busy dude and may not have the time to devote to the project. He's currently developing a TV series based on Stephen King's Carrie for Amazon MGM, as well as working on a brand new Exorcist movie. I agree. We know, and we've reported on both those things, especially the Carrie series a couple of times, especially the recent castings that were done a couple months ago. So yeah, he is very busy. However, I would think for something like this, Mike Flanagan would fit it into his schedule. If there were rewrites that need to be made or adjustments, I think he'd be open to doing that. Although the animated Creature Commando series gave us our first taste of the DCU, our first real look at the new franchise will arrive in just 2 months with Superman. And then just goes on to talk about that film, which we're not going to talk about. It's not what this is for. As for Clayface, the studio has already given the film a September 11th, 2026 release, and that's all there is. So, again, part of me is surprised to see this, part of me is not surprised to see this. Again, it's Warner Brothers, it's DC Studios. They have no problems continually finding a way to trip over themselves, to sabotage themselves, to take something that probably would have been a very unique take, a very unique story that would have stood out amongst the rest of what was being done and could have been very great, to probably say, nope, let's just retool it, let's rewrite it and make it just fall in line with everything else we're doing. We don't need originality here. Let's just make it very much something we've all seen before many, many times. So a bit disappointing to see that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll be interested to see what these rewrites are going to look like. I do hope we do find out, though, how much of Mike's Flanagan's work is going to be rewritten. Because, I mean, obviously now we're never going to know what his true vision for this would have looked like for a horror version of Clayface for DC Studios. So, anyways, that's going to do it for this horror news update. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Are you surprised, not surprised to hear that DC Studios, again, he's co-ran by James Gunn and Peter Safran, but I'm sure James Gunn is obviously the one making that decision, saying, no, now we need to rewrite the Clayface script after supposedly it was just so great that it convinced him to even do the movie, but now it's not great enough where it now needs to be rewritten. So, Again, let me know in the comment section, and if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we will see you at the next one. Later.